Here's some Seattle cops wearing masks in 1918, masks made for them by the local Red Cross. I'd trust the Red Cross over junk made in Chinese factories, wouldn't you? This photo is also from Seattle in 1918. Wearing a mask, telling someone else he has to have a mask on to get on the trolley. I think maybe that's a staged photo to make the point, hey guys, bring a mask. Sounds like there were plenty of masks to go around though, and people were making them themselves. Remember, that was an age where men had a handkerchief on them, and women did too. So making a mask wasn't actually that big of a deal. Here's a poster by the Alberta Board of Health in 1918. The bottom half is how to make a mask. Pretty simple instructions followed by apply over mouth and nose as shown in the picture. So yeah, our great-great-grandparents were smarter than Theresa Tam and the World Health Organization today. Let me read the top part of the poster. This disease is highly communicable. It may develop into a severe pneumonia. There's no medicine which will prevent it. Keep away from public meetings, theaters, and other places where crowds are assembled. Keep the mouth and nose covered while coughing or sneezing. When a member of the household becomes ill, place him in a room by himself. The room should be warm but well ventilated. The attendant should put on a mask before entering the room of those ill of the disease. So that's more sound advice right there in 1918 on a poster than Justin Trudeau's government gave to sick arrivals jetting in from China and Iran and Italy for months. For months there was nothing, and then there was just this one-line touchscreen question, have you been to Hubei province, China? And that's it, just come right on in. Thanks for touching the touchscreen. Here's a New Zealand health pamphlet from the Spanish flu. It's not a public health order. This is advice, suggestions by the local hospital board. I'll paraphrase it because there's too much to read. Go to bed directly when you feel symptoms. That's good advice. Go to bed in a room not occupied by a person who's well. Good advice. Take a drink of any kind of as hot as possible. Take a light diet. Don't depress yourself by looking at the bad side. That's good advice. Remember, the large majority of persons who take ill get well. That's good. Only one member of the family of the house should visit the patient's room. Don't allow people to come into your room. Look at this. If no doctor has prescribed for you, take ammoniated quinine in a half to a teaspoonful dose in plenty of water every 4 hours. Add 1 teaspoonful of boric acid or borax. That's pretty specific, isn't it? I'm going to come back to those points in a moment, so don't forget those. Let me skip ahead. Don't go outdoors except into direct sunshine. Here's an outdoor sunshine treatment. The patients of the flu virus were laid in the fresh air, their faces exposed to the sun. I know that sounds like an old wives' tale, but no. Here's an excerpt from the American Journal of Public Health back in October 1918, and an editorial by the doctors called Weapons Against Influenza. That was the name of the article in the journal. So this is a scholarly journal. Believe it or not, they said the most effective remedy was sunshine. I'm talking about fighting the Spanish flu, which is an H1N1 virus. Let me read. The open-air treatment of Brooks was found by the Massachusetts State Health Department to be the most valuable factor in reducing mortality. Apparently, the fatality of hospital cases was reduced from 40% to about 13% by the treatment. An invaluable incident to this treatment is the fact that in the open air, the immunity of the nurses and physicians is enormously increased, leaving them to carry out the great amount of work confronting them. So that's pretty much the opposite of the orders of every politician and bureaucrat in Canada. Don't go to the park. We'll arrest you if you walk your dog, or if you go out and get sunshine. Stay in your house. Stay in the dark. And we can see those cooped up in a closed space, like seniors' homes, is where so much of the deaths in Canada happen. That sunshine treatment. They had it right 100 years ago, didn't they? So wear masks, self-quarantine if you're sick, get sunshine and fresh air. That's an excerpt from my daily show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every day I do a monologue on the news of the day, then I interview an interesting guest, and then I read my hate mail. You gotta subscribe. Go to rebelnews.com.